Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. Sarah, happy birthday. I hope you're having a wonderful, happy Sunday as well. Well, guys, today we're going to be talking about the continuation of Rebecca Minkoff's sanitization tour that she's doing. And this is going to be a masterclass on PR spin and Scientology damage control, otherwise known as handling the PR flap. Okay. Because we're talking about the absolute circus that the corporate media is literally throwing themselves to run defense for Rebecca Minkoff. And they're bending over backwards, like, because they want to reframe, repackage, and sanitize the entire narrative after her disastrous, chaotic exit from the Real Housewives of New York. Something that Rebecca Minkoff, what was that term, you guys, that is used all the time? Volunteer. Right? Because the kids that sign billion-year contracts in Scientology are being called religious volunteers. And ChatGPT, Rebecca, just so you know, told us that being a housewife is a volunteered position. You get offered, do you want to come on? And you get to volunteer. Isn't that great? So let's be clear. This isn't just about some Bravo mess. This is about the broader machinery of image control, of suppressing uncomfortable truths, of laundering reputations through glossy puff pieces, like the one here with Us Weekly by Cristina Garibaldi. Cristina Garibaldi, that Us Weekly does not pay her enough to have access to ChatGPT. You guys imagine that Us Weekly, they don't pay their staff to have access to ChatGPT, access to Google. Imagine that they're just really struggling at the weeklies to, have any access to resources to fact check. Isn't that what it's called, you guys? Fact check? I think that's what it's called. Make sure that things that are being, pitched are actual facts. Make sure you're not just like throwing, stuff out there. So this is about the broader machinery of image control, suppressing uncomfortable truths, and the laundering of these reputations, because that's exactly what we're witnessing. So let's start with this latest stop. This is what we're going to start. This Us Weekly interview where, she's really giving us the frame of Minkoff as being pushed out as this like poor, misunderstood designer, a victim of bad editing. Editing has just been so bad. You have no idea how the editing was so bad. And how everything is media misrepresentation. The media is misrepresenting it. The whole debacle of Rebecca having produced a prank. Again, something that she ideated, and as we clocked earlier, very much in furtherance of an L. Ron Hubbard reference that talks about really find out who's the leak, really put out a fake rumor about yourself. So those operations were literally deployed on the housewives. And Rebecca is pressed because she has not enough self-awareness to understand that just because you made up a fake rumor, Rebecca, just because you put out that fake rumor for yourself, just because the fake rumor was, I mean, I don't know if it's XXX rated. I think it's like even higher than XXX rated, honestly. The content of the rumor was literally, I don't know, like definitely more than XXX rated. But then you act pressed, like, who did it? Who done it? Oh, I didn't do it. Who? What? You took a dump on national TV. You were called out for it. You have acted like you're so inconvenienced that you were being called out for what you did. Right? So here is this interview that Rebecca just dropped 8 hours ago, 9 hours ago. So let's really react to what in the literal hell Rebecca's saying now.
So excited to have you here to chat about your book, Fearless.
Thank you.
Which is a fantastic read. I feel like I've learned so much, but this is a re-release. You added another chapter. So
Yep.
why was it so important for you to put?
Fearless. The book is Fearless, y'all. So make sure that you grab that and put that on your notes. Rebecca is out there pitching a book called Fearless. And that title right now is not making a shred of sense, given what you're just coming off of by actually doing all these interviews, Rebecca. You're doing these interviews to, what does it call it in Scientology? They call it outcreate the entera, outcreate the headlines. Like that's the part of the Scientology PR image op that you are in right now. So including you, all of a sudden, how many years ago did you release this book? Yeah, you were going like, oh my God, this is not going to be us back on the Real Housewives. Ain't looking so good for me. I'm getting in a lot of ethics trouble because Scientology is, pissed about all the bad headlines that my abysmal performance on national TV came back, put all the attention on Scientology, put everyone on the Real Housewives of New York franchise to start asking questions about it. No one is satisfied with your answers. No one's happy with anything you're sharing because you went to this franchise because you wanted to put yourself out there to promote and just sell handbags. And you just weren't expecting to give anything in return, Becky. Isn't that what they call criminal exchange in Scientology? Double check on that. Why don't you go to your ethics officer and double check? Because it sounds like you were looking for something from that situationship. Right? It got to your ego. Oh, I get to be a housewife. I get to ask this. I get to be in front. Oh, it's a really hard decision. A hard decision that you said yes to. A hard decision that you didn't do a lot of due diligence. You know, instead of pitching all this fearlessness, why don't you pitch due diligence? The opposite of fearlessness is due diligence. So let's really like scrub off your book because everything in your book can be all thrown to the trash as soon as you learn the word do your due diligence. Don't make decisions according to what you're just about to tell us here.
Put this extra bonus chapter in.
So I think I've had some perspective since it was published in 2021. I've sold my company. I became a mother of 4. And I was...
So you had perspective. 2021 is when you dropped it. 2025, you're doing RHONY. 2020 something is when you sold your company. So this was your reinvention. Gotcha. This was your reinvention era because your company crashed as a result of the pandemic. Okay.
Thinking about a conversation that women don't often have. You know, we're the first to pull out our phones and show our kids or talk about our sex life.
Way to throw women under the bus, Rebecca. I mean, for all of you women out there that are the first to pull out your phones to show your kids and talk about your sex life, that's Rebecca's pitch. Y'all are out there pulling out your phones and talking about your sex life. I mean, what world do you really live in, Rebecca, where women are just talking about their sex life just like that, willy-nilly? Oh yeah, let me just pull out my phone and like start talking about my sex life? Like, what in the literal hell? Can you guys really provide a shred of insight into this? Because yeah, according to Rebecca, women are just pulling out their phones, showing kids, and talking about their sex life. This obsession you have with sex, Rebecca, is honestly like you pitch sex ad nauseum. If you really go back and check, since we do have it on the public record, video recorded, we can show you. Can show you every time you've said, including not limited to, you want to be remembered as a mom for being unconventional, walking around naked, and always answering the sexual questions of your kids. And now you're here saying that you're pulling out your phone and talking about sex. I mean, damn. Like you are, it's giving a little sex obsessed. If this is what you're doing, according to you, and this is what you perceive women to be doing everywhere. Oh, let me just grab my phone. Here's my kids. Let me just start telling you my whole entire thing about my sex life.
But we never talk to each other about money and what we're making and what we're investing in. And I feel like
no, Rebecca, it's called boundaries. If you've ever heard of them, you know, maybe you're out there giving financial advice to people. Maybe don't just sit with women and just go, are you a woman? Let me just tell you my whole financial situation here, because that's what you do at the hotel, right? So you're very comfortable telling everybody that, oh, you should just be as open as I am. Not everybody has to be like you, Rebecca. Some people do not want to just be like willy-nilly sharing all this financial info with anyone that is a woman. I mean, that does not make you someone to be talking about your finances to. I'm sorry to shatter your illusion that that's how it should be working, because you know what? We would advise against that. If you're a woman out there, don't just go and be like, you're a woman? Let me just tell you what I'm investing in. I mean, what in the literal living hell?
like it's that, because we don't do that, we are so much more behind. So I wanted to.
I mean, speak for yourself, Rebecca. Speak for yourself. How many women are behind because they're not just going around talking to women about, what did Rebecca say? Money, investments. Like, speak to people that are specialists about that would have some sort of fiduciary reason to not just take advantage of you. That would be another great way for you to set a boundary. Don't just go and be like, oh, you can just want to see my bank account, want to see my stock portfolio, want to just see everything to see if you can, what, help me? Some just random woman? Oh, you're a woman. And I heard Rebecca said, as soon as you find a woman, let's really all just start talking. Let's open up everything, because that just really makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
To add that in is like, I wish I knew this in my 20s and my 30s and not discuss.
This is what you wish you knew in your 20s and your 30s. First of all, let's talk about that, because you know what? For all this wishing you knew this and wishing you knew that, Rebecca, remember when you left Florida running away from Scientology to land yourself in New York at the age of 18, and you didn't finish past the high school that you keep purporting was some sort of performing arts? If anyone can find a performing arts high school that Rebecca really attended in Clearwater, please advise, please send us some notice that you exist. because you landed in New York with a Scientologist that was paying you $3 an hour. Imagine that you haven't realized that you've already put that for yourself on the public record. A Scientology man told you, come to New York, I'm about to pay you $3.25. That's what you said last time. But you know, that number has changed a lot of times. You keep saying it's $3, then $4 another time, and then $3.25. So give or take, Rebecca, give or take, the Scientologist told you, or I really have a job hooked up by your brother, Uri Minkoff, brokered by himself. Oh, here's the number, Rebecca. I just really went to a party where I met a grown-ass man that really would love for you to go move to New York for $3.25 because he's really going to teach you a lot of things. But here you are in your 20s. You wanted to know what exactly, Rebecca? What exactly were you really looking to know? You really needed to be told how women were investing in at 20, at 18. You were running away from Clearwater, running away from what your dad was facing. Let's not decontextualize your idyllic childhood, Rebecca. You couldn't have been more implicated by proxy in all of the weight of the cult that came down on your dad due to his association with Lisa McPherson. Your idyllic childhood that you have pitched for yourself. Idyllic is the word that she used, you guys. So we're not putting a shred of word in your mouth. This is all you, Rebecca. This is all you describing the lies. How was your childhood? Idyllic. But here you are, the person, the really one that women want to really go tap to get advice about what exactly?
Discovering it now, and knowing where to turn to. I don't, I joke with my financial advisor, like, I shouldn't be getting my advice from Instagram, but it's giving me more than you are,
What type of financial advisor are you actually seeing, Rebecca Minkoff? If you're getting financial advice from Instagram, and you really want to sit here and purport that some random on Instagram is getting you such great, amazing advice, so much more than the person that you hired to be your financial advisor, as you sit there telling everybody, Rebecca, that you have a financial advisor. Imagine the financial advisor that is letting you talk like this openly, as if what you're saying makes total sense, as if no one can see what's wrong with this picture. Who is this Rebecca Minkoff that left Clearwater at 18 to go work for $3 an hour with a Scientologist in New York? And now it's doing interviews with Us Weekly to sell us fearless, be very fearless. Damn, like fearless with your finances. Here's everything. Let's really just, as soon as you find a woman, go talk to her. Your words, Rebecca.
No, it's so okay. Like, get fluent in it, get comfortable, ask questions.
I always feel like they
get fluent on it, get comfortable on it, ask questions. You know what? Part of doing your research is not just sitting there asking questions and getting manipulated and being told and being like, oh, but this is great. Oh, but this is wonderful. Oh, but we really know what in the hell we're doing. Oh, but you're going to get so much out of this. Those are the tactics, you guys. Those are the tactics. That's how the people are getting grabbed, nabbed. Oh, but we have a course where you can learn how to be the most efficient boss in the universe. No one has ever done this course. No one has ever heard of technology like this. You have no idea how efficient, how much it's helped my life, says Rebecca to the people that she's, grabbing and inspecting. What are you doing to invest? What are you doing to invest? Like already like eroding all boundaries. But she's Rebecca Minkoff. I saw her at the news. Oh yeah, Us Weekly was chatting with her. So it must not be the, Us Weekly is completely clueless, dumb, stupid, has no research department, has no fact checkers around, has nothing. Like their journalistic intelligence is missing all the way through that place. It is like no one's holding you to that high of a standard, but it's giving zero spine at the moment. Like, damn, zero spine? Zero? Like literally -0? Damn.
Should start teaching this early on in school. I feel like I've always had these conversations. I'm like, why don't they teach like basic finance in school?
Yeah, Geraldi, why don't Scientology kids go to school? You are sitting across this girl that, was told by Sue Minkoff, oh, you want to go to college? Oh, you want to do this? We're not going to pay for you. You can go do that yourself. You can figure it out yourself. You can just help yourself. Rebecca, you're an adult in small body. David and I are, trying to keep your dad from going to prison because of what he did to Lisa McPherson. So, you know what? Shut the F up and go to your room and start doing conditions because you're really turbulating us here at the house, Rebecca. That's how she was being handled by Sue Minkoff. Isn't that great? That the Scientology mothers can just do that, can just send an underage child to their room to do ethics, to do conditions. You're too emotional. We can't deal with you right now. Shut the F up. Shut the F up right now. Don't shed one more tear. Calm up tone. Right? Because you can just program a child robotically to stop feeling the grief, the fear, the despair that they feel with just... That's how the Scientology moms talk to their kids 24/7, 365. They're unhinged. They're devoid of common sense. They're devoid of critical thinking skills. They're devoid of parental instincts. So who still doesn't get it? Who's still very like, oh, this is just too hard to how stupid can you possibly actually be? Because that's what's being questioned. It's giving a lot of people playing dumb on a full-time basis. This woman here asking Rebecca, oh yeah, they really should be teaching this at school. Kids in Scientology don't go to school, you idiot. Did you get the part where we were brought from another country and taken out of school? We didn't do past 7th grade, some of us. And here you are having a conversation about Rebecca, a bullshit conversation that Rebecca knows is bullshit. Here's Rebecca playing her part. Let's look real relatable, okay? Talk in bullshit. Doesn't matter. Oh yeah, we really should be working on the finances at the schools because we really should be empowering women because, I'm all about the empowerment. Rebecca, how are underage girls taught about finances? The ones that signed a $1 billion contract. Can you and your publicist start typing that answer for your next press tour? Because that's what we're starting to give you guys, notes to answer. This is what we need answers for, Rebecca. Just FYI, CC your entire crisis management team that should be fired at this moment. You should be firing every single one of them because these interviews are not helping you whatsoever. You're literally just smearing everything more and more and more.
School,
You think?
like, right?
Yeah. Like we don't need to know like English as much as we have to study it.
Yes.
We should learn about how to invest.
Seriously.
We don't need to learn English, says Rebecca, but teach investment. I mean, who are you teaching this investment to? Kids or adults? Because why are you making this point? Does anyone understand why this point is being made? Please write it down. Please make it make sense for us. What is it that we're not getting about what she's pitching here?
Like,
Yes.
really, what inspired you to first write the book?
I was inspired to first write the book because I felt like I had achieved enough longevity in my career and I had so much just hard-won knowledge, and I wanted to create
Hard-won knowledge. Put in your bingo card for Scientology terms being belabbered out by Rebecca. Hard-won knowledge. That's the pitch she was told. Oh, you did affluence attainment. You have hard-won knowledge carefully applied. You're a professional. Rebecca, your business had tanked. Right?
something that wasn't a workbook or hard to do, or you have to sit down and dedicate time to like write out 20 steps, that you could just have these tools that are easily rememberable at your disposal in those moments of
Oh, Rebecca's giving tools, you guys. Rebecca's selling tools. Didn't I tell you that Rebecca's being used to sanitize the image of Scientology, to go after female founders, to make herself look like, talk like, appear to be like? I mean, damn, she went so far she thought she could really pass for a real New York housewife. And damn, she could not. Literally. She crashed, she burned, she was washed up in acid, but you know, she looks and points at all the fingers and she cannot see for herself what in the hell's going actually on.
oh no, should I do this? Should I quit? Should I start a business? Should I break up with him? Whatever it is. And you just have these sort of things that you can say, oh yeah, is the risk worth it? Can I stomach it if I fail? Good, let's go forward. Or
that is not how any person that has any level of actual discernment should be making decisions. Just an FYI. Just an FYI. You don't go, what's the worst of the risk? Am I willing to go to the worst aspect of the, oh, then I'm going to sign up for that. Oh yeah, I'm willing to go through it. I mean, Rebecca, that is the stupidest advice anyone has ever literally pitched with a straight face. I'm sorry, but how do you really want to make that make sense? Right? Because like, again, it's like, it's all this talking in circles. All this talking in circles, all this appearing like you really know what in the hell you're talking about, but then you're not clocking that what in the hell you're pitching makes not a shred of sense. Make a decision according to having actual discernment, doing proper due diligence, managing risk appropriately, intelligently, grown up like, adult like you really have people around you that are professional. According to you, Rebecca, your business manager, he's such a deadbeat financial advisor that you got, that you just go to Instagram and that's great and wonderful. I mean, go figure.
I don't need to ask for permission. I'm just going to ask for what I need in a moment, and just, you know, tweaking your mindset.
Rebecca doesn't ask for permission, and she tweaks her mindset so that she just goes, give it to me, do it for me, get it done, get it executed. I don't give an F. I'm Rebecca Minkoff.
Said a little bit to like really just approach things through the lens of, you're going to be scared. There's a lot of fear that comes with risk. Yeah. But if you feel confident enough to just take it anyways, you usually will do something that is good.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine someone listening to your advice and actually making decisions based on the advice you just provided. There's a lot of fear with risk, and you just have to do it because something will come out good. Rebecca, a lot of things that you might be fearful about are not good ideas in the first place. Maybe you're feeling fear because it is bad, it is wrong. You shouldn't just push through that. Maybe there's like signals, messages, red flags that you're just driving through a la you right now, where, you know, you just do things very fearlessly, but you're not actually looking at the facts. You pass red flags all the time and you just go, whatever. Just that's chaotic. That's why your life is so chaotic, because you just try to bulldoze your way through exactly to where you are. That's why you're trying so hard here.
What rule do you feel like is most applicable in your life right now?
Well, I like taking lots of risks.
Yes.
Rebecca, the risk taker. Rebecca, not just because you keep saying that you like taking risk and the risk and ha 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 he he he, is that going to erode again what you just did for your brand, for your namesake, for someone that is so industry savvy about building a brand? Imagine doing what you did on Real Housewives of New York and having clothing that now is matched to your personality, matched to your words, matched to the fact that no one could get you to discuss Scientology without you having a complete and utter infantile meltdown, projecting at everybody. Everybody else has a problem. They're not saying it in the right tone. They're not saying it in the right voice. They're not asking the question that you really want to hear. They're not in propitiation to you, Rebecca. That's what's different about this habitat. In your habitat, like you called it, everyone propitiates to you. Oh, it's Rebecca. Oh my God. The one that really made $100 million. Let's all bow down to Rebecca. And then you're very happy in that environment. But in this environment of equal women that didn't give an F about you, that were just going to ask you a question and you couldn't stop sounding like a weirdo, that's your problem right now. Your problem is you did that to yourself. Like you went, oh yeah, this is just going to start selling bags nonstop because I go on Bravo TV. Again, a fearless choice of yours that you took, no matter what the data was there showing you that you shouldn't be doing that. Just from your brand perspective alone, you knew you couldn't answer anything Scientology related. If you don't know that, that's where your risk averse backfire on you AF. And now that's where you cannot dig yourself out of a hole, because you put yourself in front of all of America. You put yourself out there now contradicting everything on the public record, and you just expect to just say anything you want to say, get Us Weekly to cover you, get all these other AI whatevers to cover you, and whoever else is out there doing your cleanup. Because, I mean, again, payola, right? Payola. You pay the publicists, you pay the people, they clean up your image, they clean up your SEO. Yeah.
It's my source of adrenaline at the moment.
Right.
So I like to say yes to crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So just
So maybe mature. If you like to say yes to crazy stuff because, you know, the way you get adrenaline is through risk, Rebecca, you don't belong advising anyone of anything. That's called you are still in an infantile state. We feel sorry for you. Your growth was stunted thanks to your mother, Sue Minkoff and David Minkoff, Scientology, mother Scientology, father that you had, deadbeat parents that you did have for yourself. It sucks to be you. But that's what you had. So here you are telling people, I really have a female founder collective. If you're a female founder, you really have to come here how I did it, how you went your way to the top. But then your advice is take risk as an adrenaline thing, because that's not what you're supposed to be learning, Rebecca. I mean, I'm sorry that I have to give you that note. If you went through all of the Real Housewives and your whole thing is like, I really should be taking more risk because I really should be handling my adrenaline through that. I mean, again, apparently you're the only one that can't see it, because you're surrounded with echo chambers of people that are rah-rahing you without giving you the facts. That's what this is called. As much as you want to project that we're shitting on you, it's the facts. Like the facts are the facts. Like these ones do shit on you. I'm sorry that those facts shit on you. That's the nature of these facts. Like you cannot blame the people that give you the facts for what they are. You know, you should be blaming the people that are not giving you the facts, the people that are lying to you, the people that are like this, you know, woman here in Us Weekly that really wants to have a conversation with you about education and doesn't even know that, you know, your entire education was denied by your Scientology deadbeat mother, Sue Minkoff, that you did say for yourself, had a great, wonderful childhood for herself. And what she got out of it is that kids should not be supported to go to college, because when she got there by a family that really like pushed themselves of, you know, small means, but did everything they could for her to have it good, then she decided that didn't work out great for her. So then she went on a rampage to make it bad for all kids going forward. All next generations of kids after Sue Minkoff had to suffer with insufferable Scientology parents that were deranged, were really thinking that, you know, abusing their kid was really going to save our world. I mean, honestly, like that's what you have to answer up to, Rebecca, and your mother too. Sue Minkoff has to answer that too, because, you know, I'm sure she wants to really disappear behind the scenes. You know what, Sue? Rebecca said she checked with you about her leaky pigeon story that she was putting out there. So apparently you're still very related to your daughter.
You know, take the risk.
Like Real Housewives of New York.
Like Real Housewives of New York was a very big risk.
Yes, definitely. We'll talk more about that in
So I'm nobody expert language, guys, but the ha was a very big risk. This is where Rebecca's like tensing up, and, you know, she knows she has to do this. Her handlers of the president's office are like, Rebecca, you better clean it up. You better say, you better. Yeah.
Just a minute. But speaking of risks, I mean, you picked up your life from Florida, moved to New York, and kind of started from the ground up.
Yeah.
And it's so.
What life did she have at 18, Garibaldi? Imagine being the so-called person at Us Weekly that should have a shred of credibility. Us Weekly with the zero credibility that magazine already has, because all they do is, you know, what we're finding out, thanks to, shout out to Ryan and Blake Lively, shout out to them. We're finding out that, you know, these weeklies are just like, you know, a complete no spine, no integrity, will launder anyone's image, will shell out any bags, will give a fuck about nothing. That's great. It's great that we know that now.
Interesting to hear like all the little things along, all the little risks along the way. What do you feel like was the biggest risk you ever took in your career?
Oh my gosh. So many. I think there was a moment, I'd say even more recently during COVID, when we saw 70% of our business evaporate. We had to shrink our company by half. We all had to take pay cuts. It was like.
Your company imploded 70%, Rebecca. And I mean, again, this whole thing about COVID, Hermes didn't have a problem during COVID. Plenty of other brands out there that had, you've spent ad nauseum telling us how much you know your client, your minquettes that are so obsessed with you and just can't wait for you to put out another bag. Although there's plenty of reviews with nightmare reviews on TikTok about your bags, but that's a whole story for a whole other day. But here you are saying that, you know, it's your ravaging fan base that has really made you successful. And it was more that money you were putting into the social media of it all, right? Because payola has been the way you got into where you got. Even though you go, oh, I worked so hard. I mean, Payola's behind a lot of these work hard statements that we are smelling for ourselves right here.
we were looking at down the barrel of, can we exist? You know, can we?
Why? Why were you looking at a barrel like that? Why would your existence be threatened? If you've said that you've become you're supposed to be an e-commerce retailer, direct to consumer. We were the first to ever do that. We were the first to ever talk to our consumer. We were the first to ever tell our consumer. So if you were the first of all of that, why is your company crashed when a pandemic happens, when the consumers are not really, I don't know, because like I said, even fashion-wise, plenty of people were buying stuff they didn't need as a result of the pandemic. So plenty of companies did better because people were just buying. But you were under a barrel, apparently. And then after that, you decided to write a book called Fearless. I mean, I don't know. Doesn't make a lot of sense here.
Stay in business. And it was riskier to say, let's keep trying, than it was to just say, bye, it was fun.
Right.
It was harder. It was going to be more hours, more work, you know, and so that was a big.
It wasn't riskier, Rebecca. I think that's a misunderstood word that you have. If your business collapses and you want to resurrect it because you've already invested so much in it, the risk is not trying to revive it. You were still working on all that 20-year career where you've been a mysterious girl behind the scenes, you know, have really been saying how great you are at creating $100 million bag company, which that's kind of been the pitch. That's kind of been the image you've been putting out there. You've had CNN interviews. You've had the best of the best corporate media apparatus around you pitching you ad nauseum as a great success. But that pitch has not aged well. The pitches that we have of you saying that you're great and that you're wonderful and that you're really amazing and talking to your clients so much is not making a shred of sense here. Where what happened to 70% of your people then? Where did everyone go? I mean, literally, aren't you obsessed with Rebecca's bag still? Aren't you a minkette for life? Aren't you, since your come up, since the millennial that you were trying to say you are? I mean,
Risk, and it paid off. We're still here.
You're still
Celebrating 20 years.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
incredible.
you stayed afloat because you cut out how much? And I mean, how much did you get from that, what was it? The PPP loan, Rebecca? Because that would be great for some people to start finding out how much PPP loans you could have been given. I mean, Scientology was given a lot of PPP. Rebecca. So it'd be great to start finding out really how much of a hit you really did take from this in your company. And how much money did your company get? Wouldn't it be great to really start actually understanding that part of the thing?
But that had to be so scary because you're like, I worked so hard for this and we've come such a long way, and to see it all kind of
disappear, but you know, only for the US government that has a great relationship with Scientology, especially the IRS, to figure out how to go, oh, you know what these people need? Here's an influx of money that the IRS is not making because the IRS thinks that they're saving our world.
here for, you know, for that would have been a tough pill to swallow.
It would have been very tough. My brother and I, who was my co-founder, like just said, you know what, we'd rather go down in flames trying than just walk away with everything we built, all the team.
You rather go down in flames? I mean, it seems like that part of your postulate came through, Rebecca, because again, you should have been kept off the main screen and just kept as a mysterious, successful woman, which is what you were saying before. And that's the problem that you have today, that you have to go and try to explain and explain. And the more you explain, the more you soil yourself, the more you contradict yourself, the more you are caught in another lie, are caught in another fabrication, are caught in another OSA op. I mean, you really cannot help yourself here.
You know, we owe to ourselves to at least like give it one last hurrah.
One last hurrah. I love that your mom told you to like make your first dress. Like if you want to go to this, was it your dance or?
See, I love that your mom just forced you to make your own dress, which again, you guys, like Rebecca Minkoff has done a ton of press. She always says the same story. She always has the same narrative about how, oh, when I was 8, I saw a dress and I asked my mom, can I have it? And Sue Minkoff, who had money, Sue Minkoff, who had means, Sue Minkoff that could have literally just said, okay, here's the dress, Rebecca, said, no, you have to earn it. You have to do it. I'm going to buy you the thing so you make it yourself. So Rebecca Minkoff had a horrific childhood. She's already clocked both of her Scientology parents, saying that they were just these like complete stingy ass, didn't want to give her a shred of money, didn't want to help her with anything. I think she was doing a lot of babysitting at Flag, actually, Rebecca Minkoff. She was, doing babysitting there, or, right around that. A lot of underage girls were doing babysitting at Flag, you guys. That was kind of like the thing, so that the moms could go and do the courses and the audits and whatever, they'd be dumped with all the teenage girls. So,
or was it? I think it was, right?
It was just a dress in the window.
Yeah, dress in the window.
Yeah.
If you want it, you make it. I think that's so fantastic. Do you have that same mindset when it comes to your own children?
I do. It is so much more work to say no to a child, especially that wants something.
So Rebecca still has the same mindset, still is using the rhetoric of Scientology to, treat her kids. Great to know, Rebecca. Great to know that you're still telling kids that, they're not enough on their own, that they have to earn their exchange, that they have to put their exchange, that they're not enough if they don't contribute.
Yeah.
But it's like ingrained in me, like I have to say no because you need to figure.
It's ingrained in you. Correct. It is ingrained in you. It's ingrained in you to look at your 10-year-old, get asked to do something, and you go, well, what are you going to do for this? How are you going to exchange for this? Like, that's not normal parenting, Rebecca. Like, you might think it is, but I mean, all of you moms in the chat, I mean, honestly tell us, is that how a mom is supposed to act? No one's saying spoil a kid and give him every single thing they want. But Scientology parents do the pendulum opposite. Kids don't get what they need because they're always being told, well, what's your exchange? Well, how are you going to get this? Well, what are you going to do for me? Like, it's always that. It's always literally what Rebecca's saying.
Figure out how to earn it. And sometimes she chooses not
Figure out how to earn it.
To earn it and doesn't get it. And sometimes she really doubles down and really goes for it. And then
sometimes she chooses it to earn it, and then sometimes she doubles down and goes for it. I mean, again, Rebecca, it's so gross. It's so gross that you say this with a straight face, that you pretend that there's nothing wrong, that you pretend that we don't see through what you are admitting. This is you admitting to this. This is you admitting to this. You're saying that your child decides. Like, you're supposed to be their discernment, Rebecca, because drop that bullshit that your kids are adults and that they can figure it out for themselves. You're supposed to be looking out for their best interest instead of you pawning that off to them, making them feel responsible for that, making them have the decisions for that. We cannot make it more clear to you how effed up it is what you're doing.
you see the pride. And that's what I'm trying to teach them is like hard work yields results and you get something for it.
It's rich of you, Rebecca, to talk about the hard work that you've done. Didn't everything you've done happened as a result of, I wouldn't call it hard work. I would call it opportunistic, turning you into a planned situationship by the hotel that you belong to. Because if your huge breakout role was the goddamn t-shirt and you sold so many of them, why did you sell them, Rebecca? Why did you sell them? Was it because of all the hard work, or was it because you opportunistically got connected through your cult with a celebrity that did you that favor, because that favor would put you up here, and then the president's office would be writing a commendation on both of you because now you made Scientology look normal? Because we just had Jenna Offman laughing it up and wearing this t-shirt that Rebecca made that no one would have bought had you not been what? Pushed out by who? But you want to make it look, what was the hard work that it took to get that, Rebecca? I would say none. I would say you were a Nepo baby because you used the fact that your brother was dating a girl that could get it into Jenna's orbit. And that connection of nepotism situationship happened because you had ties with the cult. Wasn't organic. It wasn't your hard work. It wasn't all your distributing pamphlets in the middle of Union Square. Wasn't that. It was that you got put out there. Your shit was called out. Your name was called out. No one did a shred of due diligence on you. Everyone just bought your act. This girl from New York, Rebecca Minkoff, Rebecca La Lula, Anna Balala, whatever the hell. Like, people just buying something that they were being told to buy through television, through your connections in there. But here you're talking about all the hard work. I mean,
are your kids falling in love with fashion?
My daughter is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She's now trying to steal my clothes, and she doesn't take no for an answer. She's wearing my stuff out. I'm like, no. And she's like, yeah. She's 10, so I'm in trouble.
You are in trouble.
she doesn't take no for an answer. I mean, maybe it has to do with the fact that you treated her as an adult her whole childhood, Rebecca. Check on that. Check on that with a good, developmental child psychologist. Ask a psychologist. My daughter wouldn't take no for an answer. If I treated her like she was an adult in a small body her whole childhood, would that influence her not listening to me? Think about that.
Well, those teen years are creeping up soon, and she's going to be raiding the closet.
Yes.
It's not a bad closet to raid.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
When she was upset that my fourth was a boy, I was like, but you get everything now. And she was like, oh, good. I'm glad it's a boy.
Yeah, right.
That's how easy you can manipulate kids. And here's Rebecca manipulating her about her feelings, that who gives an F that she doesn't have a sister, that she's now going to get Rebecca's closet. And at 10 years old, that just, did you send her to Scientology to float a needle too?
Right. I love the story about how the morning after bag kind of came to fruition, like inspired by Sex and the City, right? Was there a particular moment or scene that you were like, oh my God, light bulb just went off?
I think for me, it was just watching Sarah Jessica Parker, like walk into some fabulous fashion event, order the Cosmo, look for big, maybe, sleep with Aiden. And I was like, I want that. And there
Again, Rebecca, you talk with all the entitlement of the position you personally carved out for yourself at your hotel cult. Here you are telling everybody that you won the lifestyle of Sarah Jessica Parker, because you really did see that, and Mr. Big and Ada. What are the type of sexual development stages that girls inside of the Scientology hotels are getting at the moment? Do they get to be Sarah Jessica Parker too? Do they have the option? Or are they already on a billion-year contract and they already missed their part to have your level of entitlement, your level of not being inside the cult on a billion-year contract? It sucks to be them, way more than it sucks to be you. You're being given stuff by the cult. You're being pushed out by the cult. You're being hooked up by the cult. And here you are trying to make them favors. So everything comes with a price. There's nothing for free. Nothing is for free, Rebecca, but here you are pretending that it is.
There was, I think, a shamefulness to a woman having that experience prior to Sex in the City. But after that, it was like, let's reclaim the streets at 5 a.m. Like, let's.
I mean, who else watched Sex in the City and says, let me reclaim the streets at 5 a.m? Rebecca Minkoff, please. The whole point of Sex in the City was that you didn't have to be there at 5 a.m, that you could have men eating out of the palm of your own hand as well. It's called empowerment, by owning who you are. Not owning myself by being there at 5 a.m, desperate and deluding myself that I'm so, empowered? It's giving desperate.
Let's have our like proud walk.
Yes.
And so that was why I named it The Morning After.
That's so great. And it took off from there. It really, I love, and also love the story about how, I think it was the Jenna Elfman's, maybe her movie, and you like missed the deadline to get that bag. And then you're like, whatever, I'm going to walk around. I'm going to make it work for myself. I thought that was such a cool story too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, now I own my first luxury bag.
Right?
I paid enough for it for the sample. So here we go.
So here's the Jenna Elfman, because they never miss a chance to remind everyone the whole origin story of Rebecca and what a great success of hard work getting propped up to the position she got to by getting hooked up by her cult is a great, wonderful thing.
Oh,
Here we go.
But honestly, thanks to Us Weekly, because if Us Weekly hadn't run her image over and over again wearing the shirt, like I don't think I would be here either.
Yeah.
Shout out to Us Weekly that's been helping Scientology since Rebecca's, uprise. Shout out to Us Weekly that has been printing the images on and on and on, right? Because Us Weekly hasn't made any money with contradictory headlines, right? They haven't made any money saying Tom Cruise and Suri Cruise, Nicole Kidman, Katie Holmes, Leah Remini, Danny Masterson, Juliette Lewis, John Travolta, Lisa Marie Presley, Beck, Laura Prepon. What? They've not made any money calling out old Scientology and they're really in Scientology and Scientology. Please. Please. This is the lack of spine, vertebrae, disgusting abomination that Us Weekly pretends to be. Publication, sludging shit all over the place. Not interested in any context, not interested in any facts. They'll just sit there and help whoever wants to launder their image. For the right price, they'll be pushing your bags ad nauseum. And, Rebecca, give it out to her. She gives the credit when the credit is due. So was it your hard work that got you that, Rebecca? Or was it the people at Us Weekly that were pushing your bag for God knows what reason? Make that part of it make sense. Was there no payola involved? Was it they were just so bamboozled by your bag morning after, the one where you really go, 5 a.m., female empowerment at 5 a.m. You're preaching female empowerment to women to be out there with a bag at 5 a.m. I mean, honestly, the contradictions, the circular talk, there's not enough minutes and air and oxygen on earth to have to make these points for you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
She got free Rebecca Minkoff for
Anything
life.
she wants. She's a lifetime member.
A lifetime membership. And you
Good to know. So you made Jenna Elfman a lifetime member of Rebecca Minkoff. So look at the hard work that it took you guys. I mean, all you had to do was push my brand and lifetime supply. I mean, how much does it cost you to make a bag, Rebecca? Manufacture it. Got it.
But before you were on RHONY, you were on Laguna Beach.
I was.
What was that?
I had a small cameo.
Like?
No one knew what reality TV was.
Yeah.
So to me, when I got the
No one knew what reality TV was. I mean, you still don't know, Rebecca. You still don't know till the day you signed that contract with RHONY, till the day you went through the entire experience, till the day that you did everything you did in that show to come out, you know, like deer in the headlights, like a pigeon that's confused in the middle of the city with again, you not knowing anything. Apparently you're just so clueless and so like literally you can't even tell.
call, like, do you want MTV to come film this show? They're doing a reality show. No one knew what the term was. And I was like, yeah, why not? It's going to be on MTV. That's eyeballs for me.
Sure.
So they were very non-invasive. I maybe talked to those kids. They were kids for like 2 minutes.
Oh, they were kids. So Rebecca does know what a kid is. So Rebecca does know that there's a lot younger than the Laguna Beach cast at the Scientology hotels. But apparently you feel very comfortable talking to kids, right, Rebecca?
But I just was on Kristen Cavallari's podcast and I was like, do you remember when? And I took her down.
Oh, she was just with Kirsten Cavallari, another one of these ones that has no access to Google, no access to ChatGPT, no access to any media, no access to Twitter, no access to Instagram, no access to YouTube, no access to TikTok. Breaking news, you guys. Kristen Cavallari is existing in a laguna of her own, calling on Rebecca Minkoff to really chat it up because she couldn't wait to just catch up with Rebecca. And Rebecca couldn't wait to tell us that reality TV girl is really all about Rebecca and we go way back and isn't it great and isn't it wonderful? It's not that great or wonderful for you, Rebecca. Let's not go back to the Laguna Beach times and what was going on in that era, because that's going to be for another live or another time.
Memory lane.
Did she remember?
Yeah, she did.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
But after that experience, you're like, I maybe I want to do reality TV a little bit more.
No, it wasn't even in my mind.
In your mind.
No,
Never.
never.
I love that you talk a lot about maternity.
It wasn't in your mind never until what? Until your brand tanked? Until 70% of your business evaporated and you decided, let me see, what does L. Hubbard say? Do the successful action. So what was successful for me in the past? To be on the weeklies. Well, no one's going to go to the weeklies if my brand just tanked 70%. The weeklies, if I don't do payola at the weeklies, the photos of the girls carrying the bag disappear. Oh, but my friend Erin did invite me to become a RHONY housewife, and this could be really great, and this could be really wonderful, and this could really put me in front of all the people that I need to sell my bags to. Let me sign up for that free promotion. Got it.
Maternity leave and how each maternity leave looked a little different for you, especially as a woman running her own business.
Yeah.
What was the last one like for you? And if you could go back in time and change things, what would it be?
I think the last one I went into it thinking, okay, I'm going to take a full 3 months off, but right away I just know myself. I'm like, oh, I get itchy. Like I like being able to be somewhat of a lunching mom, but then I get antsy and I need to work. So I did.
You just cannot help yourself, can't you? Imagine you have 4 kids, but you're just itchy to what? To stop dealing with your kids? You're just telling on yourself at this point, Rebecca, literally.
Work a little bit. We had an exciting Wicked collaboration that was just beginning to take fruition. So I was working on that with.
Imagine the team from Wicked tapping Rebecca to do a collaboration. Imagine the team of Wicked having also apparently no funds to ChatGPT, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Google. No ability to research anything. No ability to look at Rebecca Minkoff's situationship. Just no more tone deaf that if you would have literally hired somebody from back in the 65s when L. Ron Hubbard was typing away his little advice on how to run a cult and how to scam and scheme people on a full-time gaslighting basis. Glad to know we've come so far in so many decades, guys. Glad to know. Glad to know that.
My team. But I need to be stimulated in other ways, you know, outside of baby.
Yeah. I hate asking the question, like, how do you balance it all?
Well, Rebecca, imagine that a baby, I'm pretty sure its purpose ain't to stimulate you. Imagine you said that. Imagine as a mother of 4 kids that you go, yeah, I need something else because the baby's just not stimulating me. Maybe don't be a mom.
But like, how do you feel like after 20 years in this business and, you know, your oldest is 10, do you feel like you finally kind of struck that balance at all?
I think we need to do away with the term.
Right?
Men don't have it.
So
Women
true,
don't have it. Stop. It's like all of us, you know, like we're going to be young forever. Like it's not going to happen. I still struggle with mom guilt. I'm experiencing it right now.
Oh, good. Oh, good. You guys, breaking news. Write it on your notes. Rebecca is experiencing mom guilt right now. Breaking news. Breaking literal news. She is experiencing that mom guilt.
You know, like back to back, very long days, not seeing the kids.
Back to back, long days, not seeing the kids. Which you knew you were signing up for that by pretending that you still live in New York. I mean, again, Rebecca, you got 4 kids. So are the kids coming to New York every week with you, or are you just leaving them behind and just going and doing, getting stimulated, whatever it is that you say that it is that you need to be stimulated by and with and about? Because definitely you've already said that your kids are not enough. The baby's not enough. It's just never enough with you.
And I think for me, it's about having an incredible team. I'm only here because I have, well, there's 3 in front of me right now, but like, you know, a host of.
Oh, there's 3 team members of Rebecca. Could they be their crisis management? Let's really talk to everyone that will talk to us at the weeklies, and let's launder and throw soap, throw bubbles, clean up, make the amends of the cult. Are these the OSA operatives, or who are the 3 that Rebecca just said were there in this interview? Preparing her to talk to her. Telling her, don't ask her about this. Don't be so mean about that. This is how we want to do it. This is how we want to clean it. This is what we want to sanitize. This is the bubbles. This is the soap. This is this. This is exactly how this industry works, you guys. You're seeing it here, audited on live YouTube.
Of women who are supporting me through this. And then it's having a good teammate in the household and having a babysitter. You know, it's kind of like.
Shout out to the babysitters. Shout out to the Scientology babysitters. Shout out to any Scientology babysitter who's underage, which was one of their favorite things to do. Favorite things to do, pay underage girls under the table to be babysitters for the grown-ass women in Scientology that thought themselves so superior, so important, so on president's lines. I'm such an executive. Don't bother me with bullshit. I got babysitters for that. Got babysitters for that. If it wasn't for my babysitters, yeah, Rebecca, no shit. If it wasn't for your babysitters, what would you really be doing?
Like I built my village, my village, and it's about figuring that out for yourself.
You don't build a village by having kids, Rebecca. It's called you are supposed to be taking care of your kids' developmental needs. Not thinking like your kids and the women that you're paying to look after your kids is a village that you're like, what? Imagine referring to your household as a village that you built and you're just like sitting there on top of it.
It does. It does take a village. It really does. It really, really does. When you
it really, really does. But your kids say that they never spend time with you, Rebecca. Your kids do that for their Mother Days I mean, how many more signs from your kids do you need? That whatever parenting advice that Sue Minkoff normalized for you is not working out for them, Rebecca. Look at it that way. Drop it. It's not a successful action. Look how effed your childhood was. Start looking at that part.
People read this book. What are you hoping that they really take away from it?
I hope they take away the idea that you're still going to be scared, just, but take the risk anyways. Really.
Again, Rebecca, with this push yourself and take the risk if you're scared. If you're scared, don't take the risk. Maybe you should listen to yourself, because in what world can you talk from both sides of your mouth? Really listen to your intuition, but really take a risk and push yourself past being scared. That's called contradictory statements that don't make a shred of sense, because you're talking in circular talk, purporting that you're some sort of expert in something, Rebecca, and you're an expert in nothing. You're a pawn for OSA to try to sanitize and to try to act as a recruitment magnet for female founders, starting with those.
Weigh the options. My friend and I talk about it a lot. What's the worst that can happen? If you're okay with that as the outcome, take the risk. And that you.
I mean, the second time you double down, triple down on your bullshit advice. If you're okay with the risk, so, if this could lead you in complete financial ruin, take the risk. I mean, how does that make sense? I'm trying to really, honestly. How is that being shown as a way to make a decision? How can anyone spin this to be like, I really meant well by this advice, Rebecca? I mean, that's the problem with your advice right now. How do you mean well advising people with something so intellectually dishonest? Let's just leave it at that.
You have just, again, these things in your head that you can repeat when you're in those moments.
Sure. What scares you the most right now about business?
No, Rebecca, you don't just use things in your head a la L. Ron Hubbard. Well, L. Ron Hubbard says, if I don't confront, I don't produce. So let's just do this stupid thing. L. Ron Hubbard says I need to outflow equals inflow. Let me go and sign up for something that would completely trash my image, my brand, my cult, everything. Just drag everyone with you. That's your problem, Rebecca. You're dragging everyone with you because you have no self-awareness. You're just surrounded by an echo chamber. There's 3 of them there looking at you, telling you you're doing amazing and you're doing great and you're doing wonderful. And I mean, you're not.
What scares me the most right now at business, it's moving so fast. When I first started, I had one style of bag for an entire year and I had the time and breath and it was still exciting. And now it's like, what's next? And it's hard to be creative when you're under this gun of, the TikTok trend's going to happen and then go away in the span of a day. And do you have the right item for that?
It's called, you're not an artist, Rebecca. It's called, stop giving us this pitch that you really need a lot of inspiration to inspire something. It's giving, you've been recycling and regurgitating and changing the colors of a few things. So don't kid yourself as to, oh, I really need to go for the inspiration. Because if you're chasing TikTok trends, guess what? If you're chasing TikTok trends, Rebecca, you're not doing this from any type of, please give us a break with the, I didn't have the inspiration. What inspiration? You grab the bag, you chop it up, you change the color, you redo it again. You've said it yourself in another interview that you're not doing couture, that you're only going for what's practical and whatever. So which one is it? Why are you scared of the pace when you have the entire thing to do the same thing 100 million ways? That's not your problem. Your problem is not that.
And so that makes it really hard to keep.
What makes it hard to keep up is what Heidi Klum used to say on Project Runway. In fashion, one day you're it and the next day you are out. The weeklies aren't pushing your bags because the celebrities that are coming out right now, Rebecca, happen to not give an F about a Rebecca Minkoff bag. The era of showing clout through a bag, I think, is done. It's over. It's gone. It's stupid. It's insipid. It's ridiculous. It's not something that You know, I think as a culture, we've learned that a bag doesn't say shit about you. In fact, a bag might reveal more about you than you really want to be revealing about you, including anyone that's bought your bag and not done a shred of research on you, starting with that.
Yeah, I would say, like, I would imagine sometimes you might have like creative block, I would think. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have other people that,
Sure,
one man
bounce ideas
down.
off.
Yeah.
But no, that's
Yeah, Rebecca, because such hard work, because luckily you got such a team. Luckily you got so many people. Luckily you got so many babysitters. Luckily you got such great household stuff. Luckily you have it all. You have it all, and you're great, and you're wonderful, and you are amazing. Okay.
like you said, it moves so fast. And you have a lot of exciting collaborations. So your collaboration for the Super Bowl, which is really cool.
Yeah. So Erin Andrews and I came together to design like
Erin Andrews, another woman that has no access to ChatGPT, no access to Google, no access to TikTok, no access to Instagram, no access to nothing, you guys. These people that do collaboration after collaboration with Rebecca, just doing zero due diligence, thinking it's great, thinking it's wonderful. And you know what? It's not that wonderful for the kids stuck at the hotel. Just an FYI.
a really fun Super Bowl jacket. It's my signature Tabitha motto. We put this really great graphic on the back for Super Bowl 59. It kind of reminds me of like a Harley Davidson jacket. So
yeah, Rebecca, it's kind of reminding me that you just rip off from this, put it in here, you clock it together, you shove it out, you go into these collaborations to get as much free press as you can. And you hope that doing that is going to build your brand. Breaking news. You just destroyed your brand. You just shattered your credibility. You couldn't have timed your exit out of RHONY at a worse time with your super collaboration of the Super Bowl, whatever, where you were begging Taylor Swift to literally come and really wear your jacket? I mean,
that's available on our site, and Fanatics has a version of it. And then we have some more collaborations in the works.
Very, very cool. All right. And then you're just coming off of your first season of Real Housewives.
yeah, let's get to the Real Housewives, Rebecca. You could see how Rebecca was like, everything's great, everything's wonderful. And you can see the Real Housewives being brought up. And yeah, the uncomfortableness comes way the F up.
So Real Housewives of New York, how would you kind of sum up this experience for you?
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I think that I went in maybe with rose-colored glasses.
You went in with rose-colored glasses, Rebecca. Rose-colored glasses. You know what they call people with rose-colored glasses in Scientology, you guys? Weedy. And it's a big, disgusting term to be called a weedy, because a weedy means that you're just like, everything is great, everything is wonderful. Like you see with Rebecca, right? Like, this is going to just be great. This is just going to be wonderful. This is going to have no repercussions. I'm very fearful. This seems like a very big risk, but I got to get an adrenaline shot here on me coming up. And just like that, she flushed her entire reputation down a toilet by making a move that was fearless. That should have had fear. That should have had, you know what? Ain't gonna work out best for me or my brand to put myself out there like that, given the fact that, if somebody tells me that I'm at Nordstrom's rack, I'm gonna act real pressed and gonna go on a whole hunt for the Red October. I mean, to completely blow something out of proportion because you're that paranoid, Rebecca. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a tough show. It can be very tough personally. You're dealing with relationships, and
Regret.
It's a tough choice. It's a tough show, says Rebecca. So how do you think the kids that joined the Sea Org have to handle things in Scientology, Rebecca? If you're so scared about being such a tough show, imagine full-grown woman that you are, mind you, with that context, because the ones at the hotel that we're asking you about are the, 14, 15-year-olds that are stuck there. with people that can, make their life miserable, and they have no resources. They have no recourse. They can do nothing about it, Rebecca. They just have to take it and be tough. That's what they tell you at the hotels. Toughen up. Toughen up. Just tough it up. No case on post. Don't cry. Don't complain. Don't be critical. Just say that you love it. That's all they want to hear. That's the option that the kids at the Scientology hotels have, Rebecca. So you here selling yourself as the victim of the very tough show that you had rose-colored glasses about. I mean, imagine you pushing yourself as a rose-colored glasses is what you use to, browse around your hotel, Rebecca. Think about that. So glad that you brought up rose-colored glasses, because those are the glasses you take every time you visit the hotel and you see maids being children, auditors being children, core supervisors being children, ethics officers being children. The rose-colored glasses are literally stuck, glued to your contact lens of your eyeball, Rebecca. Like, yeah, pry them out. Pry them out.
I never regret anything.
Okay.
I'm done with regrets. I learned so much.
Rebecca never regrets anything. And there you go. So she's just learned. She's just learned and learned and learned and learned and learned. Well, you know what? That learning lesson comes at a cost, Rebecca. Don't miss that pitch on your book. So imagine you should have weighed your options. If I go to RHONY, what happened if I have a disaster? Like I tried to deploy my Scientology tactics on national TV, if I try to produce myself to be perceived a certain way, if I try to make a production out of these fake rumor that I'm going to knowingly put out there for myself with the reason to create a fake scenario, but you're going to blame that all on production, right? Because like, according to Rebecca's world, you guys, is everyone's fault every time she steps on her own excrement.
And it was incredible for business. I made some good friends out of it. Who went just.
It was incredible for business. With a straight face, you can say that, Rebecca. Like you being in the fashion world, imagine being in the fashion world. Imagine having the most humiliating exit anyone has ever seen on RHONY, where literally you were so tone deaf, you were so combative, you were so trying to point the finger at everyone else, and you couldn't defend anything on its merits because you had no merits, because you were hoping that your clout could shield you, just like it does when you're inside of your cult, in your habitat. That clout didn't come in handy in this other setting. Outside of your habitat, your clout means nothing, Rebecca. Just an FYI.
So I'm still really close with. So you know what? It's, I have in here, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn instead of fail.
Okay.
Instead of fail, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. I mean, imagine you really are saying that with a full straight face, Rebecca. Imagine that it's giving that your own book was a way for you to try to launder, to try to, again, change perception. Oh, Rebecca didn't fail her business. Rebecca didn't have a 70% drop in business after she told us and pitched ad nauseum to every other top tier corporate outlet that is still giving you interviews as we speak. Rebecca, you were in Good Morning America talking about your 20 years and this book and all this, all just timed out so organically. Or did you know what was coming down the pipeline, and were you preparing for this to be the distraction so you could try and save your brand, counting on the fact that no one would contextualize anything at all, right? Like no one's going to know. No one's going to know. If you guys haven't seen the TikToks, that's the sound that Rebecca's giving right now. No one's going to know. They're going to know. No one's going to know. They are going to know.
Like
I learned a lot.
What would you say is the biggest lesson that you learned?
The biggest lesson that I learned is a couple of things.
Okay.
Trust your gut. when something feels off or when someone seems fake.
So Rebecca learns one lesson in one moment in time, you guys, and then she completely disassociates, forgets her advice, and contradicts herself. Because she goes, be fearless, have no fear, just go be fearless. And now she tells us to listen to your gut. So you just contradicted your pitch from your book, Rebecca. Here, you yourself did this.
Believe your gut. I also think...
Believe your gut, says Rebecca. Revolutionary that you couldn't have gotten anywhere else, okay? I mean, you guys, sometimes you have to laugh because you just don't want to vomit.
That communication is everything. Anytime I found myself in...
Communication is everything, according to Rebecca, unless you come with the wrong tone. Then she does not want to have communication. She's going to find a million faults in your communication. She's going to tell you your communication is the worst, is the most horrific, is the most, I mean, yeah.
A tough situation in the reunion or in life, like communicate through it as much as you can. And
communicate until you get disconnected from, Rebecca. I mean, you got disconnected from. Some of those RHONY housewives were, I don't know you. You stay over there. Goodbye. Nothing to say, Rebecca. Like, literally, that's what happened to you here. You got reverse disconnected from. You're used to being that part of the Mean Girls Club with undue influence, with your nepotism, with your, you know. So that's your habitat. Then you came to this other habitat and you're literally running like a chicken with her head cut off.
And sometimes you have to be relentless with how you have to stand up for something.
Sure. Who felt off?
Sometimes you have to be relentless for how, well, you have to stand up for something. I mean, Rebecca, sometimes you can just make the right choice. Sometimes you can have a spine. Sometimes you can have integrity. Sometimes on the merits of the issue, it's all Gucci. Sometimes on the merits of the facts, you have nothing to defend. Sometimes on what reality is. Too bad that you have no access to any of that.
To you.
Funny that you asked that question. I mean, I clocked Brynn being the way she was.
You clocked Brynn, Rebecca. Oh, Rebecca. Here's Rebecca using the language. Oh, I clocked Brynn. Rebecca, you fell for it on your face. Brynn said your stuff was sold at Nordstrom Rack. A fact that should have not insulted you, made you insecure. Or again, you're the one that ran with, oh, she's coming for me because she said this. How do you not see that context? And again, I think it's so rude to Nordstrom Rack, the fact that you kind of went with this narrative. I need to defend myself. I'm Rebecca Minkoff. I really built this $100 billion company. I really need to be here. I really am not an imposter, you guys. But if Nordstrom Rack is like a huge retailer, why are you pressed about being told that you were there? So what were you clocking, really? Like, literally, you're clocking nothing because you're the one that's doing a lot of clocking.
Almost right away, like my red flag went up. And so
your red flag went up. Rebecca, thank you for telling on yourself. I think you're right. I think when Brynn literally said that your shit was sold at Nordstrom Rack, a fact that can be verified in every available public record there is called the internet, Rebecca. Anyone can go, Rebecca Minkoff from Nordstrom Rack, and people can be purchasing your shit right there. Because Nordstrom buyers that also have no access to Google, no access to ChatGPT, no access to any information whatsoever that's publicly available about you, decided to go, you know what? It's a great idea and it's wonderful and it's amazing. And let me help Rebecca sell these bags here at Nordstrom Rack. Never mind that you fell for the literal pothole because of your overreaction. You overreacted to something that should have not made you feel so insecure, Rebecca. I mean, it's giving insecure AF.
I wasn't going to give her or engage. I just was like, I see you. So I know you want.
You weren't going to give her what? You weren't going to engage on what? On being confronted with the facts?
Me to react. I saw online, she needs to stand up for herself. No. When you know how a person can act, it's not about standing up for yourself. It's about preserving your energy. And it's about.
Oh, Rebecca's practicing preservation of energy, you guys. I mean, give it up to Rebecca to come up with Kakamimi stories, because she's good. She's good. She's now preserving her energy. She's like, I'm Rebecca Minkoff. I'm not going to. What was there even to talk about in the first place, Rebecca? If you could clarify that part, that would be great.
About not engaging, and that's a stronger stance than just with distilling it down to like a cat fight.
Sure. Yeah.
And so there
was nothing to cat fight about, Rebecca. We couldn't agree with you more. There was nothing to preserve your energy about. You were confronted with facts. It's that simple.
Something that I listened to my gut on that one. Other people, should have clocked them sooner, but whatever.
Yeah. Do you feel
other people, and this is what Rebecca's pissed about, should have clocked it sooner because she's pissed. Rebecca Minkoff fell for the trap. Bryn said she sell her stuff at Nordstrom's rack. Rebecca went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She went and completely got insecure. She went and completely checked with her 3 teammates there from OSA that are accompanying her everywhere. And we know what's going on with this girl. We know how to handle her. We have the technology from Hubbard. Let's use it. Let's use the Hubbard technology on Bryn. And then we're going to get all the housewives to turn on Bryn because we have clocked it, says Rebecca. Now Rebecca's clocking.
feel like she was trying to bait you a little bit, especially in the helicopter?
Yeah. She was trying to bait me, and I think get a reaction. And obviously for that.
This is not bull baiting, Rebecca. Contrary to your beliefs of how robotic you are, you're like, I'm Rebecca Minkoff. I will not react. I will not be baited. I will not be bull baited. I will be completely inauthentic. I will have no emotions. I will think about it with my OSA handlers before I react. I will make sure I have right talking points to be saying so that everybody is happy with me because they're watching every video and telling me what I'm doing wrong. Just to contextualize that little part.
That show conflict is key, but when it's produced and it's like, I'm going to do this on purpose, I smelled that too. And I was.
See, and that's little Rebecca Minkoff doing a jab. Oh, and it's produced. Rebecca, you are probably the first housewife in the history of Housewives reality TV that has been caught producing. The thing that you're pressed about right now, about all this production, I keep getting this. That's a you problem, Rebecca. That's a you problem. Like you're the one that came up. I'm going to put a fake rumor. I'm going to spread this around. This is really going to work great. And this is going to work wonderful for when I want to use this against Bryn, because that's going to be very organic. That's really going to make everyone in the group turn against her. The one that was kind of smelling your shit a little more than the others, right? Like, I thought it was smart to go with something so factual. I mean, I think that, her OSA tactic from Bryn worked much better than yours, Rebecca, because, she put the little trap there with like, oh, your stuff sells at Nordstrom Rack. Then you became completely insecure. You're short-circuited. You went to your cult. You got a whole campaign figured out. You put out the information about you getting pregnant by a man that you don't know, because that's how you do it. That's how you get on. You check with your husband, you check with your parents, you check with people that this was going to go on TV. You had people that co-signed on this depravity. I mean, I don't know what else to call it, Rebecca. You tell us what you want us to call it.
I was like, I'm not taking the bait.
Not taking the bait. Yeah.
She's not taking the bait because she's got TRs, because I'm not bull bait and I'm fake as fuck.
Do you feel like, because I know we see in the reunion, how was your reunion experience overall before we
It was unpleasant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did it feel
unpleasant? Quote from Rebecca: her housewife reunion was unpleasant. Okay.
because I know when you kind of walked off, Sai said it was awkward. Did it feel awkward for you too?
Yeah, I thought that having had all these close experiences, that when I walked off, someone would say bye or good to see you. It felt like the Mean Girls Club all of a sudden. And I was like, what?
Oh, Rebecca. Rebecca's sad that she ended up in the Mean Girls Club. I thought you were running that club, Rebecca. I thought you were running that club. Mean Girls Club. Thought you were a proud, co-founder of it. Because we could get into that part too, Rebecca, when, certain person got fired and you didn't give an F about them. Remember? So you talking about how everyone's a mean girl to you. Nice, Rebecca. You just always figure out how to, don't worry about it. Let me make myself a victim here. Let me pitch myself as a victim there. I mean, you do win the award for the person that can make herself a victim no matter what the circumstances are.
What happened? Did I miss a memo somewhere that every?
Oh, did you miss a memo? I think you did, Rebecca. I think you finally were catching on to something right there. You were on to something, missing a memo almost.
One is now stay away from this girl, but it literally felt like, it just felt very weird. And I was honestly like, oh, okay. Mm.
What was it that you were saying, Rebecca? Clocked. Maybe you got clocked. I think that's what you got clocked. I think people stop buying your bullshit. And you being out of your habitat, you not being able to influence these women with a bag. They don't know you favors. They don't know you anything. They don't even know you. And unfortunately for you, you refuse to see that you were not being transparent, that you were there for other fish to fry, Rebecca. Let's leave it at that. You were there with other fish to fry.
The only thing I could think of is I knew they were having a hard day. Mm. I knew they were having very tough conversations.
Here's Rebecca, the compassionate Dalai Lama that wants to really preserve her energy, that is just going like, oh yeah, they're having rough conversations. Rebecca, they clocked you. They clocked you. They figured you out. They had enough. They've seen enough. They've had enough of it. And yeah, that is going to turn people into feeling a certain type of way about you. And you being in a cult isn't going to help. And you having 3 people stuck there with you at Us Weekly, pulling some string with whatever in the hell they're telling you to say here in this other train wreck interview that apparently everyone thinks is great and wonderful to really help you sanitize an image. But you know what? You're not doing yourselves a shred of favor right here.
And I think when you're in that headspace, again, energy preservation for all of them, it seemed like they just had to power down. But or they really just don't like me, and I'm the idiot.
No.
Oh, Rebecca, you're the idiot. Oh, you're so self-deprecating, Rebecca. You're the idiot for what? You're the idiot for going to a cult to get advice. You're the idiot for having a hotel where you go get advice on how to live your life. You're an idiot because you sit here and you tell women to take very fearless decisions, no matter how horrible the risk could be. If you're okay with the risk, just go for it. That's the problem, Rebecca. Nothing to do with what your actions that played out on TV came back to, you know, when the consequence start knocking on the door, that's when these bitches get pressed. Got it.
Did anybody reach out to you afterwards?
Yeah, Jessel and Uba did.
Okay, and what did they kind of say up to you?
Just checking in on you.
Checking in, yeah. Did you have a tough time kind of like compartmentalizing your thoughts after that reunion?
Yeah, did you have a hard time compartmentalizing your thoughts like Garibaldi is asking you here, Rebecca? Because you know what? Every time as a kid, leaving a disgusting audit, you have a hard time compartmentalizing your thoughts after being abused ad nauseum. So, one you consented to, one you didn't consent to, Rebecca. That's the difference between your housewife reunion and a Scientology audit of a kid getting exposed to that. Just to put a little perspective into your victimhood.
Even after you walked off?
No, but I think when you're in the moment and it feels like whack-a-mole, you're like, do I answer this or this? Do I address this one or this one? But if I do this, I won't get to that, and that's important. And you can't like put a pin in it. And so it was really, I think, interesting and sort of hard to navigate which question do I answer and how, and hopefully.
How about you just be transparent? How about you just be honest? How about you don't go into Rebecca's mind? I mean, you guys think about this, okay? Here's Rebecca telling you how she thinks before she opens her mouth, benefit of the cult.
But I think when you're in the moment and it feels like whack-a-mole, you're like, do I answer this or this? Do I address this one or this one? But if I do this, I won't get to that, and that's important. And you can't like put a pin in it. And so it was really.
So Rebecca likes to put things into pins. I mean, amazing. Amazing, wonderful, incredible, Rebecca. Like, by all means, show us the art of your train of literal thought here, because I think this is going to have to be studied by every last person out there that needs to study this.
Yeah.
Did you have a tough time kind of like compartmentalizing your thoughts after that reunion after you walked off?
No, but I think when you're in the moment.
Damn it.
Thoughts after that reunion after you walked off?
No, but I think when you're in the
Here we go, you guys.
moment and it feels like whack-a-mole, you're like, do I answer this or.
There's Rebecca, you guys. There's Rebecca giving an insight into her mind.
Or this. Do I address this one or this one? But
right there. She goes, how do I lie? Do I answer this or do I answer that? Or do I address this or do I address that? Or do I go here or do I go there? Or do I say this or do I say that? Or is this handler going to get pissed or is that handler going to get pissed?
But if I do this, I won't get to that, and that's important. And you can't like put a pin in it. And so it was really, I think, interesting and sort of hard to navigate which question do I answer and how. And
you know, in Scientology, Rebecca, you have a lot of horrible questions that you have to answer, that you have no consent to even say no. So imagine that you're really trying to say that this is hard for you, grown woman that you are. You were not being asked to lie. You were not being asked to concoct. You were not being asked to come up with cockamamie stories. You could have just been there present in the moment and answer things as they were being brought up. What's so hard about that for you?
hopefully I answered enough and got through enough.
Do you feel like you got your point across?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing left.
According to Rebecca, you guys, she really got her point across. She really, really honestly feels like she couldn't have gotten her point across any better. Like, okay. I mean, If you say so, Rebecca.
Oh, I think there's things left. I think Aaron and I probably need to have a conversation.
Right. Have you had conversations?
No, we haven't.
No. Did you see that relationship taking a turn in the way it did?
I was very surprised.
Very surprised,
I was
yeah.
as shocked as probably everyone else. That's
Yeah.
when I found out.
At the reunion
Mhm.
is when you found out that things weren't. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we were close. Like,
Yeah.
you know, off camera, we hung out all the time. You know, we had our kids met, our husbands met, like we hung out all summer together. So it was,
Really?
you know, I knew we had a disagreement prior, but I didn't know it was like, oh, the end of the friendship is here.
Okay.
Yeah, the disconnection, Rebecca. Imagine you were disconnected from. You were clocked and disconnected. And imagine you sit here pretending that you're so shocked. You're so confused. Why was Aaron really cutting ties with you, Rebecca? How many times have you tried to throw her under the bus, purporting that the prank that was a joke, that wasn't a joke or a prank of the fake rumor that you put out, was also being tried to be pegged that says, oh, well, you and I came, like you tried to make her your co-founder, Rebecca. She wasn't your co-founder. She wasn't your co-founder. She might have, like, you know, helped you spread a rumor, but she wasn't your co-founder. And you've spent so much time trying to make that stick, and imagine that it isn't sticking.
That was the big news flash I failed to receive.
Oh, wow. Well, then I would imagine them walking off. You'd be like, wait, what just happened here? Like, I thought we were friends. Do you feel like she was saving it then for the reunion?
Likely.
Yeah.
Rebecca wants to say everyone else is calculated except for her, you guys. Just FYI. Rebecca is the most want to preserve an energy, want to be Buddha herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everyone needs to figure out a way to get their apple, I guess.
Do you want to know?
TBD.
TBD.
There's the shade, you guys. Everybody has to figure out how to get an apple. There's Rebecca telling on herself. Because she made it look like, oh, never mind, time to turn the page. I really need to turn a page. I really need to promote a book. I really need to go spend time with my kids because that really means a lot to me. But here you are. This interview must have been done right after the reunion or something, because she's saying TBD. I mean, Rebecca, you didn't get asked back. And I don't even know how you're saying TBD after that reunion.
We'll have to wait and see. Do you want a friendship with Aaron going forward?
I mean, I think if everyone can realize their own responsibilities and take ownership for them, I certainly did at the reunion, then the conversation's always available.
Yeah. What did you make?
Conversations are available to Rebecca as long as everybody takes responsibility, and she purports that she really took responsibility at the reunion. Rebecca, please, you took responsibility for nothing. You answered no one's questions. You acted pressed AF. Every time someone asked you anything, you went for projecting how they had a problem and they were the ones with the issue, and there was not the right way to do this and not the right way to do that, and you make it all complex. That's all you. That's all on you. You did that. You put that out there.
Make up for bringing up like these approved talking points that you had.
She said, she asked me if she could ask this, and I said, okay.
Mhm.
If everyone thinks that's like, that only happened with me and everyone is not guilty of saying, you know, things in certain situations, then they're lying.
No one's asking you that, Rebecca. Like, do you see how she just goes for the smear? She goes for like, everyone's doing this. Rebecca, please, like, you being a Scientologist, in what world are you trying to make it look like you're just like everyone else? You stick out like a sore thumb because you're part of a cult. In case no one told you, in case no one reminded you of that, in case your echo chamber that you pay to tell you that you're great and you're wonderful and to put another AI video claiming that on the public record. I mean, that's the problem with you. Echo chamber AF.
Especially if people had to fix something or, wanted to change something. So that's all I'll say. I can't say more because I'm not going to throw someone else under the bus.
Sure.
Oh, she's not going to throw anyone under the bus she throws everyone under the bus, and then she says she's not going to throw anyone else under the bus. Very sneaky, Rebecca. Very sneaky that you go. I'm not going to throw anyone else under the bus, but let me throw everyone else under the bus because everybody was on approved talking points. Everything was produced. Everything was done exactly how I did it. What I did, everyone was doing. No, Rebecca, you're doing. That's why you're not being asked for the back to the show, just so you know.
Yeah, I mean, do you wish that you were a little bit more forthcoming throughout the season about Scientology and things like that? So maybe the heat wouldn't have been on you when it came to that topic.
No, because it was never brought up in a manner that was respectful. It was always.
Here's literally Rebecca Minkoff making a stink off because she cannot literally be wrong. She has to make sure everyone is wrong. You didn't ask it respectful. You didn't ask it in the right tone. You didn't ask it in the right way. Rebecca, the answers for that question do not suit you, to be transparent, right? There's no world in which you can be transparent. There's no world in which you could really talk about what goes on. There is no world. And that's why you're acting with all this cognitive dissonance here.
Always done with, as Bryn says, I like to play horrible games. I like to stir the pot. So would anyone feel comfortable? No. I
play horrible games, like Aaron said, to stir the pot. I mean, Rebecca. Yeah. She just plays victim at the drop of a hat, you guys. Like, and again, going back to let me demonize, let me smear Bryn because she likes to stir the pot and you like to not be transparent, Rebecca. So what's wrong with stirring the pot? If you got nothing to hide, then there should be nothing wrong with stirring a pot and everything should have really backfired on her organically. And yet that didn't happen, did it?
think that the other time she brought it up in the helicopter, she had already been drinking all day and it was not done from a point of care. And
she've already been drinking all day. We all saw the helicopter scene, Rebecca, and it's great and wonderful and amazing. And you really should write a success story on the fact that you just said that she was drunk. But we all saw what she asked you. And you know what? If that's her drunk, then you know what? Don't even bring it up because you know what? It didn't come across as that. She said, what should we say if somebody asks us about this? You reached up. You got pressed. You said immediately no comment because she's a publicist. You thought telling a publicist, saying no comment. What? She's not your publicist, Rebecca. Did you not get the point that she's not your? You're only used to publicists that work for you that you could just say that. Why? That's how you come across. That's how exactly you come across. Why didn't Bryn just say no comment if somebody comes to her? Again, how weird.
We had barely met. So do I dive in and ask you your religious beliefs having never met you?
Right.
Get to know me, and by that time I already knew.
Nobody gives an F about your religious beliefs, Rebecca. Let's start by that. Get to know me. Get to know me. Show people who you are. Be transparent. Get to know me. Oh, it's rich of you to want to blame this on someone else. Oh, you don't get to know me. You don't get to know me because you are literally lying your ass off. And you know it. That's what's so crazy about this performance. This is a real performance. Get to know me. Come with care. Come with what, Rebecca? Please.
Knew about the Nordstrom comments. I'm already a little bit hey, I don't know that I trust you.
You don't trust somebody that tells you your bags are in Nordstrom rack, which is a fact. What's the Nordstrom comment? What's the Nordstrom comment? Can anyone with a straight face put it in the comments exactly what the Nordstrom comment that Rebecca is so really going crazy about here?
And some of the girls says that they felt I was standoffish about it. And I said it. I am not standoffish if it's a genuine interest. I'm not here to bring it up and be like, you got any questions for me? Yeah. But if you have a genuine interest and you want to bring.
You got any questions? Yeah, Rebecca, we do have a ton of questions that you don't want to answer. You do have a ton of things that you cannot say. You would have to go check back with your cult what you can say and what you cannot say. And all the points that we're bringing up right now, Rebecca, are things you cannot defend. There is no crisis manager on earth that can help you defend this, Rebecca. There is no lawyer on earth that can help you defend it, Rebecca. This is what's called you've been clocked. Right? You get called out, you get told, you get served the facts, you get given the facts. You don't get to choose the facts. You don't get to, act injured by reality. Like, talk about reality TV. This is reality TV. This is a severe reality adjustment for you, Rebecca. You need it.
Bring it up, great. But if you're going to make me feel like you're just doing this to stir the pot or be mean-spirited, I'm not going to engage with anyone on any topic in that manner.
Mm-hmm. What did you
Relax, Rebecca. Relax. Because again, you act so pressed. Stir the pot. Call it stir the pot. Call it asking for transparency. Call it we smell a rat. Call it it's giving you're not being honest. Call it everything that comes out of your mouth contradicts something else. Whatever you want to say that, Rebecca, it's like, if you want to call that stir the pot, I mean, you're the one that are stirring the pot. You're making yourself the stew. Because you're stewing. You're not being transparent. You're not being forthcoming. You're not sharing. You're misappropriating everything about the hotel, Scientology hotels, that you don't want people to know, that you cannot have people know, that you would be embarrassed AF if they knew. With people outside of the habitat, exactly what you called it. You're outside of your habitat because you're not with your other cult buddies. That's the only habitat you know how to exist, where people just agree with you about everything that you all do inside of the Scientology hotels. That era is over, Rebecca. So put that on your notes. The era you get to play dumb on a full-time basis is over. It's canceled.
make of Erin separating herself from the prank?
Well, that was wild.
Yeah.
I wish they would have played the footage of us talking about it and having the idea. I said, what if we do and I'm pregnant? And then she says, and you don't know who the father is. So to me, it was a back and forth dialogue of us.
Again, this is a crisis managing interview brokered by the three people on Rebecca's team that are in this interview, hearing Rebecca being asked these softball questions, giving Rebecca a chance to, stir the pot, muddy the waters, throw some shit inside there to, oh yeah, everything is not what you saw on live TV on The Real Housewives. Rebecca has another story. Rebecca has another spin to everything. So if any of you want to know what in the hell she's got, tune into Us Weekly, because they're very, very interested in any spin you want to give them. They're so stupid, they cannot clock shit. At Us Weekly, they're just, everything goes over their head. They're that stupid.
Planning the prank, even though in the seed of it was mine. Yeah. And I'm all about taking responsibility. A lot of people were upset.
The seed of it was yours, Rebecca. So you recruited someone else to spread that rumor. I mean, yeah, she's got a responsibility, but where does the seed of all of this come from, Rebecca? Where's the origin of all of this? Why are you pointing the finger at someone else when it was your idea? If you hadn't devised that out of your own seed, of your own creative mind, that would have never made it in the show, is the point.
But when the distance happened, I was like, wait, this was ours. And if it had gone well.
Wait, this is ours?
Would you have been like, this was ours?
Mm-hmm. No, Rebecca. If it had gone well, how could it have gone well? You said to spread a rumor that you were pregnant because you had a wild night out with a man that you didn't know, and that you and your husband were all about that lifestyle. In what world? And now you're pregnant with your 5th baby. The audience was women that are, for the most part, not only just the RHONY housewife, like there's There's a situationship in the country, Rebecca. You got 4 kids and you're on your 5th. But how is that supposed to go well? So imagine you trying to make the point, oh yeah, but if only it would have gone well, would you have really stuck with it? I mean, please.
But again, I went into it thinking that the fans would be let in on it. Everyone knew. It was like the crew knew, production knew, like everyone knew. So I thought, oh, great.
There's Rebecca throwing everyone under the bus. Everyone knew. Rebecca, it's reality TV. You are not to be coached on what to do. If you go to your cult and your cult tells you it would be a great, wonderful, amazing idea to deploy technology of the convicted felon that we worship collectively at the hotel, where it says how to find a leak, how to get a leaky pigeon. Never mind that I'm sure that production does not know that any of this stuff that you said came out of your literal head, and you did go like this, Rebecca, like the seed of it. So, but now you want to go, oh, everybody knew. Yeah, everybody knew because they're filming you. They're showing you what you're choosing to do. Did they plan something in your situation? You were expecting to be saved from your own stupidity? Why would someone owe you that?
Great. The fans will be let in on it. They'll think it's funny. We'll see who the lead.
How are the fans going to be let in on it and think it's funny that you were saying falsely that you were having sex with random men, got pregnant, and you don't know who your 5th kid is coming from, Rebecca? What part of that was supposed to be the fun part? What was that part that we were supposed to be laughing at?
leak is, which was the whole point of the game. It wasn't a game.
Sure.
The whole point of the game, but it wasn't a game, but it wasn't a prank, but it wasn't a joke, but it was a joke, and you're supposed to laugh, but you're not laughing. But Rebecca.
And then to trick the fans was a shock to me because I never would have done that had that been the case.
Of course.
To trick the fans was a shock to her. Rebecca, you go, you punch someone in the face, and then you act surprised. Good to know.
I'm sure that you were very disappointed that that was never shown.
Yeah. I mean, it still could be shown.
Right.
No, there could be a flashback at some point in the future of both of us planning the prank together.
That is very, very.
Yeah, it'd be great to also, get the text messages and all the phone logs and, a flashback inside the Scientology hotel where you were studying how to deploy your stink off. That would be great to also have that flashback, Rebecca. That would be really wonderful, actually.
True.
And or text messages where we're laughing about the prank together.
Yeah. Would you?
Laughing about the prank together. Oh, the prank is so funny. I just said I'm pregnant. I just said that I get effed and I don't know who does it. And I don't give an F if I get pregnant by random people. Laughing it away. Got it.
Release them on your own?
I would, but it's so petty to me. Like I've moved on and I feel like.
Oh, yeah. And you see, this is the bullshit of Us Weekly, you guys. This is the bullshit, payola. This woman just showed you everything. Oh, would you release those text messages? Oh, but Rebecca's not petty, you guys. Oh, no, I would never release it because it's so petty and I really moved on from it. It's not petty, Rebecca. You said something disgusting. You pushed a fake rumor on yourself. You were pissed that the other person didn't get what? As clocked as you did from being the originator. She still got some backlash. It was still tone deaf of her to follow, your shit. She fell for your, cult tactic. I mean, look, it happens.
If someone has to stand there and defend themselves about a prank, and also people are so tired of talking about it.
Yeah.
So is it a prank or not a prank, Rebecca? Because now you just called it a prank and people are so tired of talking about it. You know what? People are still wondering what in the literal living hell you were doing. And imagine no one can still understand it as of right now.
I think when people watch this reunion and watch the end of it, it's really going to throw people for a loop that everybody, made up with Brynn, especially Uba, going up, hugging her. And I didn't see it coming. Your reaction?
I was shocked.
Shocked and jealous, probably, right? Green and envy, right? Because no one came to hug you. No one came to give you nothing.
As I was saying before we started filming, I talked to her almost every day, and she mentioned she hugged her, and that they made up, but that they will not be in communication with each other. But they really had this intimate moment that I never expected ever to have happen, and it's what Uba needed to do to get closure.
Do you feel?
So Rebecca never intended for this to happen, and she was just so shocked.
Like it's a closure on the friendship, or do you feel like she opened that door for maybe a possible friendship going forward? Because they were very close at a time.
I would never want to say what Uba decides on the future, but at the moment when I spoke to her, like, I forgive you so that I can fly, and that is done.
Do you feel like her relationship is done within every other person in that group?
I can only speak to like what Aaron has posted publicly on Instagram, or I don't really know where everyone's head is at with it.
Yeah. Do you feel like Brynn will be back next season if there's another?
I can't imagine why she wouldn't be back.
That's true,
right?
yeah.
They really brought the arc full circle to redemption of the villain.
Redemption of the villain. And Rebecca just says that they just brought us this back. It's all fabricated. It's all produced according to Rebecca. Exactly. Well, and here, Rebecca, look, we just heard from this commenter, Jane Doe. Fun fact, Rebecca tried everything to recruit me to take over her position at CC New York. She said if I didn't like it, I'd get paid and get an apartment. I mean,
right, that's true. Everybody loves a redemption story. It's very true. So overall, an interesting and learning experience.
Yes, very interesting, very learning, but incredible. Like, for the brand, for the opportunities I've had, the friends I've made.
So it was
for the brand, it's been so incredible. Why is Glatz PR good for your brand, Rebecca? Why are you saying this is great and so wonderful for your brand?
Good for the brand. I know a lot of people said that, she went on because of the brand.
Why?
It's good for the brand.
But I wish they would have shown this too. Like when I was like, all y'all are doing this for the brand. Are you doing it for like the good of humanity? And Andy's like, yeah, we're great.
No, Rebecca, no one's claiming you have to do it for the good of humanity. Look at you going from one pendulum swing to the other extreme of the universe. I mean, you really know how to pendulum that swing, huh? No one's saying that people were signing up for this to save a world, Rebecca. That's what you tell people at the hotel. So whatever you do at the hotel, don't blame that to other people. But it was giving opportunistic. It was giving exploitation. It was giving... You're not there to really share. You're there to put yourself in front of as many women as you can and get them to buy your bag and your tricks. And you know what? I think the internet is learning all about you.
With Rebecca.
Right.
Like, it's wild to me that you get criticized for even saying it's good for business. Like, what other reason is there? Please give me one. I'd like to see it.
Remember season
I mean, look at Beverly Hills, Housewives of Beverly Hills, Rebecca. It's a full-blown franchise. It's a whole-blown business. There is such thing as being a reality TV star. There is such thing as earning an apple, as you already said, with your shade, that you were pissed that they didn't ask you back because they didn't want you. So again, why are you acting like this is so crazy and so whatever when you're just pissed you didn't get an apple? That's what this is giving right now.
The last season when Jenna was gifting everybody the gifts for all their...
Right.
I'm glad that business is going well. It's doing good. And that you were a great addition.
I'm glad that business is going well. I'm glad the business is going wonderful. Why are you so obsessed, Rebecca, with telling us that your business is going so wonderful and so great and so amazing? When it would be really great to know if it really is going that amazing. I mean, honestly.
Addition to the season.
Thank
And you look
you.
fantastic at the reunion. I loved your look.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming by, talking about your book, Fearless. Get it. It's wonderful. You're going to learn a lot of great things and for conquering business. And you have done that. So thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Erin, you and Rebecca devise a prank to discover who the
No,
leak-
Rebecca devises, and I agree to leak it.
Just wanted to make sure that that was clear at the end, you guys. Rebecca devised it and she agreed to leak it. So there you go, you guys. This was another in-depth account pushing back all the false fake narratives being pushed out by Rebecca and her team to, again, sanitize Rebecca's image, because she is putting herself in a position where she goes, I'm an author, I'm the female founder, collective co-founder, whatever in the hell. I really need to get myself more female founders around me so I can really. So all of that is Scientology 2.0. Welcome to the era where they use influencers a la Grant Cardone, a la Elena Cardone, a la Rebecca Minkoff, a la Elizabeth Moss, a la Tom Cruise, a la every last person that you know it's in Scientology is being used as a resource to magnetize and to bring more people to their hotel. So Rebecca, as much as she tries, she keeps releasing and releasing every day. I mean, every day she keeps feeding this fire where, again, she has represented for all of us what a mother in Scientology believes today, as of right now, what she's doing. So none of that is good news for kids. That's why we're here saying no more kids in Scientology, because kids cannot consent. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.